Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Thomas K.R. Stovall. Today we are going to be talking through the thinking and the psychology behind how I framed the low ticket offer for the $57,000 launch that I partnered on in the last week of December. So I've walk y'all through a number of the elements of this launch already. This is part three of the offer structure. We talked through high ticket already, how we kind of built and framed the $10,000 offer. Now I want to walk you through the other side of that campaign, of that launch, which was the lower ticket university offer. So they were introducing this new offer called AY University, Activate Your Vision University. They all of 2023 had a $3,000 program called the Inner Circle, and that was a 3 month program followed by a quarterly membership called their alumni membership. That was $297 per quarter that people could stay on with, and outside of that, they basically just had a 3-day accelerator that was maybe $297. Sometimes it'd be discounted as far as $197, $97. And it was, for the most part, a 3-day challenge. So 1 hour per day for 3 days. I think it was once a month. And it was really formatted as a selling mechanism for the $3,000 offer. So they didn't have a lower ticket kind of membership or university model where people could come, be a part of something over an extended period of time, months at a time, and really learn what they needed to learn. So with us sunsetting the original version of their $3,000 offer, extending that to a year, taking the price point up of that to $10,000, it gave space now to introduce this kind of university model, which was going to be a lower price point, excuse me, and also for people who are at a different place in their journey. You can't ride two horses with one butt. You just can't do it. So when you are choosing the customer avatars who you want to serve, you can serve multiple avatars, but they can't be in the same offer. And they need to be aligned if they're in the same brand narrative. So in this case, what we were able to identify was that there are 5 different milestones, and they hadn't really broken this out. So through my discovery process, I was able to identify there's 5 clear milestones that their people are at. They either haven't reached their first 1,000 in sales, and these are clothing brand owners. So they haven't reached their first 1,000 in sales or in a month, or they haven't reached their first 2,500 in sales in a month, or they haven't reached their first 10,000 in sales, or they haven't done 10,000 in sales 3 times in a row, or they haven't hit their first $100,000 month. Those are the 5 milestones that are kind of inside of their 7-figure growth path, as I named it. Once I saw the pattern. And excuse me, they run an 8-figure clothing brand, so they are well within their reach to be able to tell people exactly what the issues are at each milestone. And I went deep on that stuff so I could really understand for customers at each one of those 5 points what programs are going to be a best fit for them. So what I was able to see was that once we saw those milestones, we named them, and hitting that first milestone, excuse me, for getting that first 1,000. That's where like the brand, the what's your why, all that stuff is really important for them to understand what it is that they're actually building. And so I labeled that one create your vision, I believe. And I might not remember all these off the top of my head. Let's see. The second one for hitting your first 2,500, that's where you need to kind of double down. And it's less about um, anything other than you going all in terms of mindset on your business. You need to buy more inventory. You need to go all in. This is where you're going to really start to dig into your credit and your savings a little bit on that first kind of inventory order. And this is where you need to focus your vision. And that's at the 2,500. That $10,000 level, I can't remember off the top of my head what it's called. Everything is about vision, though. And the fourth one is grow your vision. I remember that because that's when you're like hitting that 10,000 three times in a row. And the fifth one is expand your vision when it's time to scale. So the bottom line for them was, we needed to figure out at what point were people ready for that $10,000 program, and at what point did people need to stay in the university program that's going to be that lower price point? Because here's a tidbit. Now, I don't know if y'all have heard this before, but the absolute best thing you can do is decline customers who are going to be a no to you anyway, because they're not a fit for the program. So you want to have parameters in your application guidelines for your programs where you literally can decline people. You want to be able to say our decline rate is X. We only allow X percentage of the folks who apply in. And you also want to give clear parameters for the application. And so those milestones became our clear parameters. And what I need to know from the guys was, what milestone are they? And I created this language too: milestone ready versus mindset ready. And so the milestone ready, they were able to tell me definitively, look, once they hit their first 2,500, they are actually ready for that next program. They're ready for the inner circle. Now, whether or not they have the money for it, to accelerate how quickly we can accelerate them, that program is 10 grand. Now, if they don't have the money for it, then that's just what it is. But if they've hit their first 2,500, they're ready. And I said, well, how is that? That's a big jump from 2,500 to 10 grand. Explain why they're ready at 2,500. The guys told me, well, the thing is, that first $1,000 of sales, you're really just testing the market a little bit. You're making sure that you can make your money back. You are finding out which designs are going to be a good fit. But when you hit your first 2,500 in a month, that's enough to know that the market is responding. That's enough to know that this narrative is something that resonates with people, and you've had enough conversations to be able to scale that. And they're like, when you double down on inventory, you move into a kiosk, and immediately you follow our structure, you're going to hit your first 10 grand in sales. Doesn't matter where you are in the country. And I asked a ton of questions. And once I was confident that the answers to the questions met what I needed, and I could see clear pathways for somebody, if they hit that 2,500 using their format to get to that 10 grand, they had plenty of case studies of people who've done it, and not just their first 10 grand, but their first 20 grand in a month, 40 grand. It was clear for me that part of this is like, yeah, you're milestone ready. You've hit your first 2,500, and now you can apply for the $10,000 inner circle program. But the second piece of it is mindset ready, because some people, even though they've hit that 2,500, they're just not ready to apply for a $10,000 program. Even if they hit that first 5,000 3 months in a row, they're not going to be ready to put that kind of investment on the line. Even when they see people who've invested the 10 and made 40 and made 50, they just aren't ready yet to be able to see themselves doing that. And whatever your limitations are mentally, you are not going to exceed those until you are prepared mentally to exceed those, until you're ready to accept success. And that's a real thing. So we called it mindset ready and milestone ready. And we start baking in those principles of being mindset ready right into the first training once we captured that language. So I started having them talk about mindset ready versus milestone ready. And this stuff is baked into the university because we want people, once they get to those milestones, then to be able to think back to what we told them and be able to think about the fact that we said, you're going to get to this point and you're not going to feel like you're ready. You're going to be scared. You're going to have all these things pop up, and you may not be mindset ready. That's okay. Some of y'all are going to need to hit your first 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 grand. And maybe you were milestone ready 3 months ago to move into the $10,000 program, but you weren't mindset ready. That's okay. There is no rush here. But for those of you who are milestone ready, just know these are the things you need to do to prepare yourself to be mindset ready as well. Because if you're milestone ready and not mindset ready, moving in scarcity, moving in fear, you're not going to be accepted into the $10,000 program. So this is all the seeding that's being done right from the beginning. It's not even a conversation about whether or not you're going to do the $10,000 program, right? That's the next step. It's kind of like if you come from a family of educators, you go to high school, it's not a question. Your next step is college. Which college are you going to? It's not even a question, right? And so that's the way that we've baked this $10,000 offer narrative into the university. The entire purpose of the university is inside of 90 days, your first $1,000 a month, your first $2,500 a month, and your first $10,000 a month, you are milestone ready to move into the inner circle. That's the progression that we want everybody who's going through that first 90 days in the university to be in. But if they need more time, they need more time. It's a quarterly re-up for that reason. But that's the narrative that's baked in. So let me walk y'all through really quick the pricing. They wanted to price this thing at $97 per month for the university. And two things. I told them don't do a monthly membership because then every single month you've got people around the 31st, the 5th, or whenever you do your membership fee renewal, they've got to decide every month, is it worth another month? Did I get the value? You don't want people having to do that consideration every single month. I like selling yearly memberships because I want you in and done. And now you can just focus on building. You're not focusing on, am I getting the value? You're like, okay, I'm in this thing. Let me do my work. But we did go with a quarterly. And instead of doing $97 per month, because I felt like that was too high, particularly because you got people coming in who haven't made their first thousand yet. And given that our goal is not really this membership, our goal is to ascend them to the $10,000 program after they've gotten results, after they've hit 10, 20, 50 grand in a month. We want to be ascending them. So the goal is not to make a bunch of money down here. It's just to definitely more than break even, but it's to give people their starting point. And so with a quarterly membership, I put the price point at 247 per quarter. Excuse me. That is just a little bit over $80 a month. And so a little bit less than the 97, but still enough of a commitment where it's uncomfortable for a person who is, they're lower on money. Like it's a mental commitment. And we want enough barrier to entry where somebody has to say, no, I really want this. You gotta scrape a little bit, and that's okay. We want people to be committed when they get in. Didn't want a super low budget membership where anybody's in and like you're in there, you're sitting on your hands, you're not working. We don't want those people. We want people who are there to build a brand. And this is a true mastermind. So the level of attention they provide to each person, it is it is well worth that dollar amount. So repositioning the commitment, I wanted it to be 90 to 180 days that people would need to be the goal for the program. And again, the entire positioning is all about them hitting that 1,000 the first month, 2,500 the second month. Now you're milestone ready inside of the first 60 days if you follow the program. And we're seeding that mindset ready long before they ever get to the point. So all the questions, the doubts that are predictable, we've told them that they're going to have them. And honestly, when they get there, now it's going just like we said it would go. That makes us the experts, and it makes the next logical thing to do to keep moving forward into the inner circle, even if they're a little bit scared. As long as they follow the plan, they're going to hit those milestones. So months 4 through 6, we want them to, if they've stayed in the inner circle, I mean, in the university, we want them to hit their first $10,000 a month. No, by month 3, we want them to be stabilizing at $10,000 per month in income for their store months 4 through 6. And even if they're scared at this point, right, they've seen enough and they know that they're appropriate for the inner circle. Even if it's scary, they've seen that they can actually build a business here and they're ready to level up. So the inner circle is not something that's sold to you. It's something that you apply for and you get in. And I'm sharing all this with y'all so y'all can bake this into your narrative, right? Flip the frame And you want to go from people from convincing and cajoling people to work with you to them understanding they need to apply to be considered. And it's respectful. It is a mutual consideration. It is consider and be considered for. That's the appropriate narrative inside of a transaction. However, the deeper they get into the process, the more they should be pulling the transaction to themselves. And the more you should be saying, I'm not sure yet, let's get a little bit more information. And so it's not about convincing, it's about attracting. What else do I want to tell y'all? I'm going to skip some of this stuff. Let's talk about the narratives and the offers. So the primary offer, we kept it simple for AY University, and we did one offer for membership. And again, you can pay quarterly, you can pay yearly. If you pay quarterly, it's $247 per quarter. I guess that's about $1,000 a year. If you pay for the year up front, it is $797 for the year. So you get a little bit of a discount. And for the day one of the launch campaign, we made it a ridiculous offer. So for that sandbox launch, it's always got to be something that is like drop dead. This is an amazing offer. I would be crazy to pass this up. So we did for that first day of the launch until midnight, the offer was $397 for the entire year. Now it's $247 just for a quarter. The normal price, we made it $397 for an entire year of membership in AYV University. And so that's enough where people who are like, man, I'm not sure, it gets them off the bench because it's just an amazing offer. So if you were thinking about going in for one quarter, even a quarter and change, this is enough. That's also high enough to ensure that, again, it's slightly uncomfortable. And people who are playing at business aren't the ones who are going to jump in at that price point. Excuse me. Okay, good. So that's most of what I wanted to cover today around the low ticket. Even though it was a real offer, it was designed to make money. The entire narrative, the entire focus is you do this so that you can go there, right? You're doing the university so that you can ascend to the inner circle at some point. There's no other narrative there. It's a standalone program, but it's part of the bigger brand narrative. When you go to the events, you see the inner circle members. When you look on stage, you see the inner circle members. When you look on the social media accounts of Activate Your Vision, you see the inner circle members featured who've done their 20,000, their 50,000, their first $100,000 months. You're seeing them becoming lifetime founding members. You're seeing them doubling down on their commitment inside the organizations. You're seeing them with special seating. You're seeing them go into the separate room for the more advanced training at the live events. All of this is designed quite on purpose to have the inner circles feel like they're a part of something special because they are. And to have all of the university members look up and say, man, I want to be just like that when I grow up. So if you've got a membership, if you've got a community, people always want to be a part of something that's bigger than them. And they always want to have some sort of special standing inside of those communities. And so you want to give people those levels where they can do it. Tomorrow, what do we cover? Let me scroll up my document here. Ooh, tomorrow we're going to cover the customer ascension journey in a little bit more detail. I got to think about what I want to show y'all because I've kind of talked you through it. Maybe I will show you a few things tomorrow inside of that. Let me think. I may cover that. I may decide to get into the storytelling part of the campaign. We'll see. All right. I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace.